Rolling.
Now, men and women, this stuff a few tired old commies have been slinging around about America being finished and not willing to fight the good economic fight anymore is nothing but a toilet roll of fiscal paper. Americans love to fight, traditionally. Visit any mall on any day of the week and you'll see Americans shooting each other. And God help any son of a bitch who tries to get between us and our Jesus Christ-given right to use assault rifles at will. Now I stand before you dressed, I know, in the dandy suit of a financial pansy. And you know, I've always thought deeply about costuming, and it is testament to the autoeroticism of my love for America that I am also wearing aftershave, to mark myself as one of you. But do not be deceived. The man who stands before you is General George Patton, reincarnated back from the dead for the new war, the economic war, because no other son of a bitch can get your idiot minds right. You are listening to me today for 3 good reasons. Firstly, because you all got just a little itty bit too goddamn greedy and hocked not just the kingdom but the castle too. Second, you're here for your own self-respect, because let's face it, right now no other son of a bitch respects you. Third, you are here because you are real men, and all real men and women like to fight. When you were kids, you all admired the champion marble player, the fastest runner, the all-American football players. Americans love a winner, like O.J. Simpson. Americans will not tolerate a loser. 2 words. Jimmy Carter. Americans play to win all the time. We won the medal count in Beijing. It was just the numbers that were wrong. Americans have never lost, nor will ever lose, a war. Certainly not Vietnam. We won that war decisively in historical extra time on television. Just as we will win the war in Iraq when we work out what the hell winning it means. And even if the goddamn useless Iraqis lose it after we pack up and come home. The very idea of losing is hateful to an American, which is why I'm here today to grease a little useful hate around with all you bankers, brokers and screen jockeys. Yes, alright, it's going to be tough. Make no bones about it. This year the economy will go all the way to hell in a handbasket and you will be blamed. People will point at you in the street and their kids will throw bits of stuff at you. 1 or 2 of you may even end up in the stocks in the public square of some benighted capital city. But a real man will never let his fear overpower his honour or his sense of duty to his economy and his innate manhood, or her innate womanhood. You're not all going to die. Only 60% or so of you right here today will perish in a major court battle or congressional witch hunt. But death must not be feared. Death in time comes to all men. Except for me, of course, but that's another story. And yes, every man is scared in his first battle. If he says he's not, especially in the profound doo-doo we now find ourselves waist deep, then he's a goddamn liar. The real heroes are the men, sorry, I think I should have been saying and women a bit here, who fight even though they are scared. But wait a minute, I'm not sorry. Where were you ladies in capitalism's darkest hour of dire need? Getting your hair done? But let me tell you people what you are fighting for. You are not fighting for some ridiculous abstract notion like honour or truth, nor even America. You're fighting for something far greater than all those. You are fighting for the free market. I'm going to tell you a thing or two about the free market. There are a few commies running around the place these days saying the free market has failed us and the free market doesn't solve all of humanity's problems. Another such hogwash. Baloney! The real problem with the free market is that it's not really free. By free I mean entirely and utterly, totally free. You know, free. The problem is governments. They always want to poke their fingers into the celestial spokework of the wheels of capitalism, and they gum them up. Get those sticky fingers out completely, and those free wills will chime out the music of the spheres. Now, those of you who have read Dan Brown will know about a thing called the Holy Grail. It was said to be the cup from which our Lord Jesus Christ drank at the Last Supper, and adventurers have travelled to the ends of the earth to find it ever since. It's always been a poetic metaphor, of course, only it's not the one that Dan Brown said it was, some nutty sangreal. The true Holy Grail is the free market. That great Spanish warrior, Don Quixote, who went around the countryside saving women and men in distress, what was he really looking for? The free market. And let me tell you, it was no impossible dream. And in Raiders of the Lost Ark, when Indy Jones finds the Ark of the Covenant that bastard Hitler's been trying to get his mitts on, what's inside it? The free market. The free market is magical. It is mystical. It is beyond time and place and human understanding. It can solve any human problem and right any wrong. It is the meaning of life and the universe and everything. It is galactic. It is subatomic. It is the symphony that string theory plays. It's the never-ending story. Sure, there are a few bumps along the way, the ups and downs and booms and busts, but all Americans love Coney Island and a roller coaster ride, and all Americans love a nice big bust. Even some women do. Am I right, ladies? Now, I know there are some who say that when the busts come, people get put out of work and things get a bit rough for families and kids go hungry and get about in rags a bit. Well, do them good anyway. So they go without a new iPod for a week. Besides, what's the alternative? Planning? Regulation? Governance? And what's next then? Governments owning financial institutions? Buying into banks? Not in this man's America. Never. I'm here to tell you all to get the hell out there and win. We'll win this war, and we'll win it by showing we've got more guts than they have, or will ever have. Rip them in the belly. Shoot them in the guts. We're going to rip out their living goddamn guts and use them to grease the treads of our customised Hummers. And when the battle is won, you may be thankful that 20 years from now, when you're sitting by your solar-powered air conditioner and your grandson on your knee watching the History Channel and he asks you what you did in the global economic crisis, you won't have to cough and shift to the other knee and say, well, your granddaddy collected welfare. No, sir. You can look him straight in the eye and say, your granddaddy rode all the way back up to the peak of the Dow with the master of the universe, George Patton. That is all. Happy New Year. So how did it look?
Yeah, maybe a problem with the framing.
What?
Your head was out of shot.
What? Come here.